Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Just Enough Heshy show. How are you? And I want you to know I'm excited. Um, Tonight, I'm going to make my big announcement, official announcement, in front of the Republican Executive Committee that I'll be running as a Republican, and I'll be making a speech. And I'm hoping that everything works out well. But you won't believe it. Ezra couldn't make it tonight. So I have my wonderful friend here, Jacob Bard. Say hello, Jacob.
Hello, 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 world.
Now, Jacob didn't talk last time, and he might not talk again, but at least he's going to laugh at my joke, will you?
Definitely, as long as it's funny, and it
No,
usually
Jacob,
is.
quiet. You have to laugh at the joke no matter what. Didn't you get the hint? His aside co-host, you can't say if you just have to say yes, yes, yes. Be quiet. You know what? I don't want you to talk on the show. Anyways, everybody, I'm Heshy Tishler. I'm running for city councilor. And we're going to have a lot to do. It's going to be exciting. Starting February 26th, I'm going to be going out to collect signatures. I hope they post that on. You have my website, heshytishler.com. Of course, we can use donations, $175, $50, $25. We want you to join me. I need people to come join my team. Join me as volunteers. We need signatures to collect from February 26th till March 26th. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to be going into Passover as your Republican nominee, hopefully, and then we're going to win the election. You know, a lot of people, and I'm going to get to this in a minute, Jacob, of all these backdoor meetings that I've been having, and I'm going to explain to you what's going on with my run for city council and how many people have been talking about me. Should I run? Should I not run? And back out. Anyways, we're going to start the show, and in my show tonight, we're going to first stop before the quote. We're going to talk about my friend, who's not here tonight, Ezra Levy. Ezra Levy, law offices of Ezra Levy Esquire, specializing in all criminal matters, including weapons possession, drug offenses, domestic violence, theft offenses, assaults, and DWI. Criminal and family court, order of protection defense. Ezra Levy, 917-755-1187. 917-755-1187. Really, guys, he's the man. He's helped me out so many times. He just helped me with another case this week. Ezra Levy. His email address is EzraLevyLawFirm@gmail.com. EzraLevyLawFirm@gmail.com. Again, that number on your screen below me, 917-755-1187. He's a real lawyer. He's a real criminal defense lawyer. Matter of fact, we had a woman who was having some custody issues, and the judge wanted to put her in jail for not paying. She had to pay the husband. You believe it, Jacob? She has to pay the husband child support over some stupid fight, and she was behind the ears, and the judge was going to put her in jail today, and we, thank God, put a stay and kept her out of jail. Anyways, we're going to start our show. We are going to talk about so many different things. My run for office, about our wonderful mayor, Adams, things to do. You're going to hear things from me that's going to blow your mind. But we're going to start with my quote. And these quotes are the quotes that I'm going to use tonight when I stand before the Republican Executive Committee. And here's my quote. You can't always have what you want, but try to want what you have. It's not how you start. It's how you finish. And the reason I say that, my gentlemen, is I know a lot of people think I started screaming and hollering and causing havoc and protests. Hey, I had to start somewhere. I did not start for that reason to get into politics or get compensation for what I did. I started it, and now I'm continuing it. I'm going to finish it in a respectable manner, and I'm going to be councilman, and I'm going to show you how to make changes to this city is the right way. And here's the final thing. All of you people say I can't win. Everybody's telling me to back out of this race and wait 2 more years and get some practice and have Kalman endorse me, which I know he never will. So we know it's going to be a miracle. So here's one of my favorite sayings. A miracle is something that seems impossible, but happens anyway. So I'm going to be elected, just like the Miracle Mets of 1969. And then my final saying of the night. Winston Churchill, one of the greatest politicians of the 20th century, said, a pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. So my journey here tonight, my guys, was a lifetime. It's been filled with trials and tribulations. I have no regrets. I've traveled far to find myself, but I found it. I found the true meaning of what my final career has to be. I've worked hard to serve my community, help many people get jobs, help many people do things. And many of you out there have gone through the same trials and tribulations and problems and families and children problems. Find your path. It's not going to be an easy path. It's not going to be a straight path, but fight it. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm telling you that I'm done. I'm done with my previous past, and I don't have any regrets. Sure, I've had problems. I've had things I had to fight and go through and go to jail and get blamed for stuff. But I want you to know something. I'm here. This is my final path. These next 8 years, I'm not looking to go to May. I'm not going to jump ship. I'm not going to get promoted. I don't want more money. I don't even need the money. What my job is to try to help guide, not lead as much as lead, but guide the city out of some of the troubles that we have and try to argue from within inside the city council. Now for my joke. Are you ready?
Oh, boy.
Hey, Jacob, I don't like you. Get out. Anyways, here's my joke.
You stuck with me, whether you like it or not.
I know, for the whole hour. Really, the whole night. I'm going to buy you a pizza later. Here's my joke. I thought I'm a good fixing guy. I know how to fix things. So when my dryer broke in the house, I decided to fix it myself. And I found the problem real quickly. Since we needed to replace a belt, I decided also to repair the cracked knob and the broken hinge. Simple stuff, easy stuff. So I went to Sears, and upon my arrival at Sears, I went to the parts counter, and I told the salesman I needed a belt, knob, and hinge, and a crescent-shaped wire. I found this wire inside the dryer, and I didn't know where it belonged. But I was confidently assured the clerk that I could figure out once he gives me this wire where it belongs. So the clerk answers me, he says, I have the other parts, the clerk told me, but for the wire, you have to go to the lingerie store. I said, what do you mean? He says, this is an underwire for your wife's bra. Tell me that wasn't funny, okay? That was funny. He knew that it was for the bra, and I didn't know it was. It was a stupid one. Anyways, I thought that was a funny thing when he answered me. We both laughed over there for a while. I went home to Linda. She says, I told you you're a dummy. I said, I'm not a dummy. I found a wire. How do I know your bra wires? I don't wear bras. I don't know about this stuff. Anyways, that's my story. And I want to talk about so many different things today. And I'm going to start with thing number one. Jacob, our city has a $99 billion budget. Do you know that? We are $9 billion over budget. We're in trouble. That's why he keeps raising the taxes by 18% during COVID. They put now all the cameras on. You know why all the cameras are on? They tripled, I promise you guys, they tripled the income from red light and speeding cameras. And some of those cameras are defective. I seen it say 88 on a constant basis. So when you pass by, it's 88. And it's broken and you get a ticket and you can't even argue it. They've tripled the income on that. Congestive pricing. You know what that is, Jacob?
Yeah, when you go into Manhattan, you have to pay a little more.
Not a little more. When you're driving through your own city, you have to pay a toll in the middle of the city. It doesn't make sense. You're driving.
Wait, I thought it was only in downtown Manhattan. You telling me this goes all over the city?
It's from downtown, when you cross over from downtown to uptown Manhattan. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But the two highways are free. Now we're going to increase more revenue, charge more people. And it's not even the people from out of town. Maybe I can understand the people from out of town. They should take public transportation, which doesn't make sense. But just let's say they should take buses to get in and then jump on a train. But the people within the city that need to drive around, they need to get around. These are the people, your own citizens. They should not have to pay this congestion.
It doesn't make any sense because basically they're not tackling the problem of fare evasion. So you're telling everyone to go take the train.
It's not even fare evasion. They want to try to lower the traffic congestion, and there are plans for it. I came up with a whole bunch of ideas on how to eliminate congestive driving. How to make moving along quicker. I gave it into Carmen Yeager, our councilman, 6 years ago, 4 years ago. Ideas on how to fix our thing. And the first thing when I become the city council, I'm going to try to bring that up as one of my first legislative plans. But here's what my problem is. As I was telling you about the money that we're trying to suck the city, we have about the migrants that have come into New York City. You know about that.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think we're doing yet? Mr. Mayor Adams went to sleep in a shelter and showing us, oh, they're going to sleep in a shelter. It's pretty warm over there, please. It's
What
not,
a cheap publicity stunt.
but it doesn't even make sense to me because the truth of the matter is what they're doing now, ladies and gentlemen, is they are now renting a hotel. One hotel, not 20 hotels. And the reason I say one is you're going to love this. That it's a 429 bed hotel, which only about 300 of the beds could be used. And out of that, it's basically about 159 rooms or whatever it is. And in that particular case, this Holiday Inn, you're going to be able to double up, triple up. They're going to treat it like a shelter anyways. The city is going to be paying $100,000 a night. Are you listening to me? Let's add that up times 365 days. What is that, $30 million? $36 million? We're going to pay somebody to rent us his building $36 million. I mean, landlords are being troubled. Landlords are telling them they can't raise the prices on rent control board. Landlords have to go back 15 years, and if they try to fix an apartment, they can't get an increase. You're telling me that these migrants are going to get paid. We're going to pay for them to live. Forget the health insurance. Let's forget about, and you're going to hear about a bill that I have something to talk about. This gets even worse. You think our city's lost. We're lost. $36 million for one building that we're going to pay to maybe house 300 people, maybe 400 people. I don't even believe it's going to happen. And they're going to run it down, break it down, and it's going to be crazy right in the middle of Manhattan. $36 million. No control, no ideas, no common sense. No common sense. And this is what keeps going on and on and on. I don't know what to tell you. What do you have to say about this? I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Look,
I mean, can you use $36 million? I could use $1 million. I could use $500,000. And people don't even make that in a year. You're paying this company $36 million to house, not to feed, not to give them social services, just to put them up for the night.
And this is all over the city. In Red Hook, there's a huge at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. They're housing people. They're housing people all over the place.
It's not housing, but they're paying. They're paying $36 million just for this place. And if I'm correct, there was what was it? How many? 15,000 people we got into for migrants into the city?
Somewhere around that number, yeah.
It's crazy. Just the money's going to go crazy on us, ladies and gentlemen, and it just gets worse and worse by the day, by the minute. And I have no explanation on the misuse of money, the misuse of power, and I don't know. I wish that you people wake up, make changes. I believe that if we take over the city council with normal people, maybe, yes, if the Republican Party does take over, we might make changes like they're going to be changing in the House. They are going to make changes. They're going to stop these 87,000 tax collectors. They're going to stop crazy tax hikes. Maybe the Republicans will understand what it is. Not, the Democrats, I believe, are going to touch Medicare and Medicaid, even though they say they would never do that. I don't believe the Republicans would ever touch that. We're going to have so much filibustering in our government. It's a shame what's going to happen to our government over the next 2 years till the next presidential election. But I have a question for you. I heard, Jacob, that you switched parties and you became a Republican.
Well, I always was a Republican, and then I wanted to. I had a project to get moderate Democrats elected, being that this is a New York City and it's a Democratic city. But then I realized it's a waste of my time, so I'm back. It's like I broke out of the insane asylum. I'm climbing right back in.
Me too. The party left me. I mean, I was a Democrat. I thought I could make changes, but it doesn't seem like I could do it. But Jacob, welcome to the Republican Party as well. I'm so proud I saw that. And hey, I'm going to be voting for Trump. I mean, if he's the nominee, there's no question I'm going to be supporting Trump. What about you? I mean, you don't have to tell us. It's your private.
No, I'm willing to tell. I'm a Ron DeSantis baby.
Okay, if Ron DeSantis is on the ballot, I understand you'll choose him. But if Trump is the nominee, Trump and Biden, it's going to be a rematch. I'm hoping that they say if there's a lot of people that's going to be in the race, it's going to be Trump will win the nomination. If there's not a lot of people, just two people, maybe DeSantis and Trump, DeSantis has a chance. But so far, DeSantis didn't announce his candidacy, so I don't think he's going to be running. And the truth of the matter is, I would love to see a Trump-Biden rematch. No matter who wins it, I'd love to see it. I think that would be an exciting race. I think it would be entertaining. And you know what? Last night, I was watching the State of the Union address Mr. Biden speak. I promise you, I don't know about the rest of you, I heard him slur some words. I heard him fumfer. That means, like stutter a little bit. He didn't really stutter, but like he wasn't clear about certain things. I think he lost his thought, even though he was reading from a prompter, but he got lost. I didn't think he was presidential. I don't think he was presidential. I mean, he was a president. He's our president, but I think he's lost. I mean, I don't know. I know he's going to announce. That's what Ezra says he's going to announce. And hey, good luck to not good luck to Mr. Biden. I don't want Mr. Biden to win again. No matter what happens, I don't want Mr. Biden to win again. And I'm sure you don't either, Jacob.
No, we've been suffering for the last 2 years just enough. We don't need another 4 of those years.
Now I want to start ranting and raving. I want to tell you something, everybody. And this is going to blow your mind. I mean, maybe you think I'm crazy when I'm going to tell you about this. There's a new law. It's called the New Wave Forward Act. I promise you this is a fact. It's legislation that 44 Democrats, what's her name? Ilhan Omar? Ilhan Omar is one of the sponsors. It's a legislation act that has 44,000 words, just as many words, just as long as the Constitution. Now, listen to this. This New Way Forward Act allows criminals that do violent stuff, rape, not murder, but rape, drugs, pedophiles, who are illegal immigrants. This bill says that convictions, usually if you're convicted of a felony. I'm not talking a parking ticket. I'm not talking a little stuff that little petty larceny, but you're convicted of a felony that sits a year in jail. You get deported. This new law says no. First of all, you have to be convicted for 5 years. And if you are convicted for 5 years, the judge has a right to override the deportation. And you can molest children. Aggravated felonies, you cannot deport them. And the bill gets better. The bill says not only no deportation for crimes, even if you commit fraud passports. Now, like 9/11 never happened. You can actually commit fraudulent documents, get arrested, let you go, and you can become a citizen and stay in this country. I mean, somebody's got to tell me about this New Way Forward Act. I mean, are they crazy completely? You're creating, you're allowing immigrants you could be a drug dealer, a convicted criminal, get into jail in another country, get released, come to America, we let you in, nothing happens. Just like that. It's going to be harder to arrest them than to arrest you. You're going to be arrested, put in jail longer than an illegal immigrant. And God forbid you're an illegal immigrant that is gay or transgender. Do I even have to say any more, Jacob?
You said enough.
You can't touch them. ICE won't be able to even question them. If they can't speak English, there'll be a problem with them altogether. I know you think that, guys, that I'm crazy, that I'm making this up. Check it out. It's called the New Way Forward Act. And the current law says, it gets better, you're going to love this, says drug crimes are ineligible to be citizens, okay? Drug crimes are ineligible to be citizens. This new law not only allows drug lords to come here, but the bill says criminalizing illegal immigrants, are you listening to this, is called white supremacy. That if a criminal illegal immigrant who is a drug dealer, a pedophile that snuck into the country and we deported him, we are white supremacists. And here's where the law gets, it doesn't stop. It gets better. It says that once they get deported and this new law passes, we have to go and buy them a ticket and bring them back to the country. Now, I understand you're not going to understand. He said, okay, Heshy, so we bring them back to the country. Okay, we deported them. Maybe it was wrong. The law says we can bring them back. He's a drug dealer. He's a felonist. He's a rapist. I don't understand. And since 2015, there have been 480,000 illegal immigrants deported. Listen to the number. 480,000 illegal immigrants. We have to go now and find them, buy them tickets, and bring them back to the country with this new law.
What?
What's it called again? It's called the New Way Forward Act. We have to buy them tickets and bring them to the country.
It reminds me of the Inflation Reduction Act because nothing reduces inflation like increasing inflation. It's all messed up.
And here's where it gets crazy. Not only do we have to bring them back here, which will cost us over $1 billion, if not even more. I don't even want to tell you the number. We have to give them health insurance. We have to give them housing. How much money is this? And if I'm ready to read the rest of it, they also get to a fast track to citizenship.
I'm sorry if you want to have the conversation with the people that have come illegally to whether they can stay here or like
Right.
at least have them go to the back of the line. But what's this? What kind of chutzpah is this to put them on a fast track?
It's
There
not
are
even
people here trying to come here illegally, going through all the paperwork, learning English, working hard.
But you don't even understand. It's not even the fast track. What's making us crazy is that these are criminals and drug dealers. A guy can sit in jail for dealing drugs, fentanyl to our kids who are dying. He gets released from jail. Since we illegally deported him, since we're white supremacists, we have to bring him back here. We have to feed him, house him, and give him health insurance.
Utterly insane.
Yeah.
Twisted world.
I give up. I'm telling you. I give up. And, and with the drug crisis today, and, it's just like, more drugs are going to come in. These guys are professionals. They're coming in.
Oh, yeah. Fentanyl's coming northeast, baby.
And that's a problem for me. Today they legalized the second marijuana, I forgot what it's called, store or...
Dispensary?
Dispensary. What a good word for a drug house. You and I know, let's face the fact that people are dying from fentanyl. Marijuana most of the time is laced with fentanyl. I'm telling you, it'll be laced with fentanyl. So what are they doing? They're cracking down on illegal marijuana stores. There's like 1,400 of them. Now, these illegal marijuana stores, they're selling, these vapes, edibles. They're selling some of the smoke. Why don't you legalize them first? The two people that have the stores, both, what was I reading here? I think both of them were convicted of selling drugs illegally. Both were what was it? Where was it? I forgot what it was. Here it is. I think somewhere here. They were cannabis drugs. They were locked up. They were locked up and convicted of drug dealing. Now they're cannabis entrepreneurs. Is that how you say the word?
Entrepreneurs.
And they're running weed shops now. They were arrested for illegally distributing. Now, it wasn't just that easy. They were illegally selling it, I think. They were selling it. It must have been really bad. They must have been selling it in bulks, selling it to kids. Because if you're selling it to a regular grown, or you have your regular clients, and you know what you're doing, you wouldn't have never got locked up. So many of them don't. These guys were pushing it. They were making millions of dollars. And that's how they're able to afford the money for these licenses. You think these licenses for marijuana is cheap. They're not cheap. And you have to open up a store, and you have to have a certain regulations.
Security guard.
And double locked doors. This is not a cheap. It's at least $1 million, $2 million investment. Where are these ex-drug dealer felons who are supposed to be paying penalties and fines getting all this money? So basically, this was illegal money they got to begin with that they opened up their entrepreneur stores. Mr. Mayor, you're doing a wonderful job, but you know what you're busy with? This is what you're busy with, and you're not busy with why people are getting shot on the street. There was a cop that went to buy a car on the street from our precinct, the 6-6 precinct. Now, I understand buying a car from a guy on the street that you met on Facebook is really not the smartest thing on the planet. But you should be allowed to do that. Somebody advertising says, come meet me by my house or the corner. You don't meet somebody on a corner, you tell them to come to your house, or you tell them to come bring it to your house. Instead, the cop went. This guy tried to rob him, shot him. The brother-in-law was there, and the cop died. God, the guy got away.
Damn.
Yeah. And that's just one. You're talking, there was another shooting in a school, 2 kids. The guy got away. This city is so busy with shootings and rapes and murders. We're busy with shutting down illegal marijuana shops. Just legalize them, give them the licenses, try to, what's it called again? Try to make them, put them into compliance. Make them do the right thing. Fix them. Instead, no, we're going to shut them down, and we're only going to give people that who are drug dealers who know how to sell drugs better. It's just wrong. And I hate marijuana. I'm telling you, they're laced with fentanyl now. Your kids, I mean, I know I was listening to a story that a kid went into a store, into one of the, a drug center to get some help. And he says, I'm not feeling well. And they said, what do you do? He says, I only do marijuana. They said, are you sure? He says, yeah. They said, you wouldn't be so sick. You wouldn't be so addictive just to marijuana. When they tested him, there was fentanyl in his system.
Wow.
A young boy, 16 years old. This is what they're doing. They're lacing it. And even the legal stuff. You think I'm not going to be able to go to a dispensary, give it to my friend Jacob, who laces it a little bit. Not that you would do that. And then sell it over to somebody else. That's all that's going to happen. The black market's never going to go away. So you're going to say, well, Heshy, the black market's never going to go away anyways. But by allowing them to sell it, it'll be easier to manipulate and put it onto the streets to the little children. Marijuana is a bad thing. Bad thing.
No good.
I know. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know. I told you about the 3. Oh, here's another thing. 3 people shot at Brooklyn Charter School. 3 people were shot in Brooklyn Williamsburg Charter School. Then by PD received reports of shots fired at a school at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. The shooter fled the scene, and at least one nearby school was placed on lockdown. Middle of the day. This is wild, wild west, my friends. Wild, wild west. We have no control of the city. Our city council is lost. Our city councilmen are nowhere to be found. They come with new legislation, raise our taxes, raise our fines on building department violations, put in more, when an inspector comes to your house, he's an inspector. Inspector means he's going there to inspect the job. Like me, when I go inspect the job or I bring my architects or other people, we're there to inspect the job. And if we have a problem, I tell you what to fix and what to do. These inspectors of the city say, no, I'm here to give you a violation. So what do I do to correct the violation? We don't know. Figure it out yourself. Call me back when you fix the violation. That's not the way it should work. I've been complaining about this for years and years and years. But, again, we have rules, and there's nobody that sits on these committees. They sit on the ethics committee. They sit on the Ways and Means Committee. I don't know what that is even. Ethics committees. Nothing to do with the city that needs it. The city has problems with our HPD, DOB. I see it. I'm an HPD receiver, and I see how the HPD inspectors act. I got in a building that I was helping run that the HPD themselves fixed over, and I'm running it for them. Their own inspector violates them. I tell them I can fix it with my people. No. We have guarantees. Remember, the HPD contractors charge quadruple. That means if a job in your house would cost you $400, they would charge you $1,600, $2,000, $3,000. To knock down a building would cost you $80,000, $100,000, $200,000. They charge you $800,000. I'm helping somebody now that the city got a court order. The guy got sick, and the building was left open. Somebody complained that the building was unsafe. They made a complaint. They went to court, and what happened? They knocked down his building. He owes the city $1 million, just like that. And it was
wow.
a yeah.
It's this show is really depressing.
It's not the show. It's what's going on. And I'm telling you story after story, and your people are not defending you. Your people are not helping you. Your people are not standing by you, and you allow it. I went to a wedding last night with about 1,000 people. I spoke to easy 200-300 people. Well, Heshy, we know you do the right thing. We know what you've done and helped the community, but you are an entertainer. You don't understand or change your image. I said, what are you talking about? For 35 years, I've been fighting the city. Yeah, we know what you do, but this is politics. It's bigger. It's legislation. We don't think that you're going to be able to handle it. I said, I'm one of the regular people. These guys don't have experience. These guys have never run budgets. They've never run buildings. They've never had real employees. What do they have? 5, 6 staff members? You know, Kalman Yeager, who I'm going to be running against for city council, and I'll be going up against to ask him not to run as a Republican. I'm going to ask them not to give him the Wilson Pakula because he's a Democrat, and he's going to be running as he wants to run as a Republican to take away the line for me. So he's going to pitch that, he's entitled to it. Now, last time alone, I sat down with him and I made a deal with him. I said, Kalman, he called me. Heshy, you don't run. We're going to help you run in another district. I said, I don't want to run in another district. Yeah, you have a house over there, run in another district. He sat me down. He said, Heshy, we're going to support you. We're going to back you. We're going to make sure that there's nobody else that's going to be able to beat you with money. Instead, he put up a candidate to run against me. He denied it. He says, no, she ran by herself. And he put up another candidate. Guy got $20,000. This is a kid who couldn't even file paperwork for his own children. Because he had a special needs kids, and I offered to help him, running for city councilman. I just found out that Kalman Yeager hired Maria Mark, one of my competitors. That was the promise he made to her. You run for Heshy, we'll give you like $10,000 or $15,000, and when you lose the case, you come work for me. They promised her a job. There's no other way that she would go work for Kalman Yeager, who was not only her competitor in a sense in another district, but a competitor against me. The man lies everything that comes out of his mouth. And there's going to be more that's coming out of his mouth because what I hear, there's other accusations coming out, and I don't know what to tell you about it. And I wish Kalman luck. He's a friend, but I don't know if I want to be his friend anymore. I don't know if I want to be, if the accusations that they make about him, and I'm not accusing him of anything, and I don't want to accuse him of anything, but if the man keeps thinking that he can do whatever he wants and gets away with it, it's not going to happen. And not under my watch. And when I get in, I'm going to be watching Simcha Felder. I'm going to be watching Simcha Eichenstein, which I like very much. Again, these are grown men. They're good men. They're not criminals. But they're not doing their job. I know if somebody that comes, works for me and doesn't do their job, I fire him. Or I let them go. I really don't fire anybody because I train them. You know, when I first started my business, the expediting business, me and my partner Penny, we were alone. And we just signed up to be expediters, and we just wanted to help ourselves, our own buildings, and we learned, and people started coming to us for favors. And then we told people, listen, you know, we're busy, we have to try to make a living. And then one guy says, I'll pay you. And then another guy says, I'll pay you. And we kept being paid, and we didn't make a lot of money. We made $150, $300 a week, $400. Wasn't a lot of money. And then as we got more experienced and better, we started to, remember, we were doing every kind of job. We were taking plans down to the building department, filing permits for people, filling out their forms, helping them set up their inspections, doing their inspections because we were contractors. We were doing enough work. Today, I have 14 employees that help me. Each one does almost a different job. And I'm sorry you're bored, Mr. Jacob. I see you're tired.
No, I had a busy day.
You should have taken a nap today, you know what I mean?
I tried.
If I'm boring you, then I'm boring the audience.
You're not boring me. It's not about, you're very compelling. It's just, I had a busy day, and I should have taken a nap, but I didn't.
You should have taken a nap. I should have bought you coffee. But I just want you to know, our politicians, our leaders, so-called leaders, they're not doing their job. They're not helping the people.
What do you mean? I've seen some amazing photo ops.
And you know what the funny part is when they do those photo ops or when they're sitting in front of a press conference? Really, there's nobody behind them. They put 3 or 4 or 5 people. It looks a little crowded on the stage.
They're cousins.
And about 10 people in the field. And it's the way they situate the cameras, and you think that it's a big press conference. There's nobody there. You know, the same way at the parks when they set up their first press conference. There was nobody there. I was there. I showed up. There was maybe 15 people all over the place. When I came, I laughed. I said, this is a press conference? You know, when we went to, when I showed up and I made the protests, I had 100, 200, 2,000 people. They get 50 people. You know, Ina Vernikova was supporting Lee Zeldin. And she made an event for him on the street. I promise you 50 people showed up to that event. 50 people. Kalman Yeager was part of it. Then they made an announcement they want to do it in Borough Park. I sent out word everybody should come. Easy, maybe 7, 8, 900 people. The streets were crowded and packed 3 blocks each way. This is the way you do it. You don't give stories. You don't give lies. Then the day of election, they made another gathering on the corner of Avenue M. 15 people showed up. You need people that are leaders, that are guides. Maybe you don't like the way I do things. Like I said, maybe you didn't like the way I started out. But I'm going to finish it the right way. Put me into power. And I know I'm trying to pitch myself during this whole show, HeshyTishler.com. But do you really want to change? Or are you willing to be happy with this? I was talking to somebody the other day. Well, Heshy, there's nothing we could do about it. So then you're happy with it. You're happy to be tortured. You're happy to be tyrannized. You're happy that things go on this way. Okay, there's nothing I could do about it. What do you want me to tell you? I'm giving you the opportunity. I'm giving you an opportunity that I have a history and a record. It's not only me. Show me the way in. Help me get in. Come volunteer for me. Come give me donation. When I get in, I'll know the procedures. I'll know the games. I'll bring in more of us. I'll make the changes. I'll be able to fight them. But when you have people, just 51 people voting any way they want, raising taxes, raising fines. You know, I was watching a sanitation worker last week on 13th Avenue. She was going store to store to store, giving $600 tickets to each store. I said, what's going on? She says, you see where they put their outside displays? They're only allowed to be 18 inches away from the curb. They're 36 inches away. I said, really? They're not blocking anybody's paths. There's 4 boxes. They're only blocking 1 box, maybe 2. People don't like it. I'm giving them a ticket. $600 ticket, store after store after store after store. And I went to some of the stores. They said, this is what she does every month, every 2 months, and it's the cost of price of doing business. And what we do is when we get a ticket, we raise our fruits by about 50 cents each pound. We raise the price of some other items in our store to cover the $600. So you know who she's giving the ticket to?
Us.
That's right. Exactly. Thank you.
Jinx.
They're giving it to you. And it's not like the street is dirty. You know, you have to clean your sidewalk from 6 to 8 every morning, and then again in the evening. This whole last week, I was helping people that were just getting tickets for not sweeping the sidewalk and their boxes not being tied. You know that it was raining one day and it was windy, and sometimes the string comes apart. And if the garbage man comes late or doesn't show up for a day, things get dirty or messy, or the kids by the school just dump stuff on the street. Sanitation doesn't care. They give you a ticket. It's a different unit. Our sanitation people are the best men out there. They're the best. They work in the cold and the snow and the rain. I tell you something, I every time I see them, I stop. I love them. I take a picture of them. But the ticket ones, those people that walk down the street that give those tickets, I have a problem with. Pay attention. Have a heart. Understand what's going on. Measure. Maybe 36 inches is good. I believe that you're allowed to do that. That's one of the new rules I'm going to change that you can't have. You're allowed to have restaurants put up big buildings on the street, take up 5 parking spots. But you can't have, and cheer and seating out front because of COVID, but you can't have a grocery store or a drugstore. Somebody put out a display or something to keep their stuff outside, vegetables and fruits cold, and people to pick easy so it doesn't get crowded in the store without getting a $600 ticket. And I promise you, I bet you they get more and they get fined. It doesn't end. Our city just keeps punishing our people, tyrannizing our people. So people say, Heshy, if you don't like it, leave. I'm going to leave. I love this country. I love my God. I love my family, and I love my city. I've lived here for 59 years. You're going to send me away? I know a lot of people want to raid. They're tired of it. They want to go upstate. They want to go to Florida. They want to go to other towns.
I'll tell you what.
North Carolina, where the taxes are cheaper. I'm not going. I love it here. I raised my family, and my family's here.
Actually, I'll say this. If the hipsters that came 3 days ago, if they leave, then me and you, we packing our bags to leave. But till then, we're not going to leave and have outsiders come in and ruin our city.
I don't care. This is my city. Everybody's invited to come here. I want people here. I want people to pay taxes. I want this city to be vibrant. I want this city to be wonderful. It's a great city, and we just have to work together. We have to work together. And it seems like, just like the Congress and the Senate and all those people in Washington are constantly fighting, it looks like in New York City we have the same issues. They called me in, Jacob, last week twice, this week once. They sat me down. Heshy, don't run. I said, why? You're not going to win. I said, I'm going to win. Jacob, I told him I'm going to win. No, you have no chance. Kalman's an incumbent. I said, I don't care. I'm going to beat him. Heshy, if you don't run, we guarantee you the seat in 2 years. I said, how can you guarantee me? Next year, the seat will be empty. So on an open seat, you have 5 or 10 people. Oh, with ranked choice voting, you win. I said, I tried that game. Oh, Kalman will back you. I said, that's another lie. We'll raise you money. I said, that's another lie. I said, I already raised enough money for round 1. I need to raise more. But I said, I'm ready in the game. I have a professional team put together. But again, this is the game they play. And you know what I told them? Never going to happen. I'm never going to back down. I'm ready to fight Kalman head-to-head. Last time I didn't fight head-to-head, and it was too crazy, and everybody ratting on each other, fighting each other's signatures. They got I think it was my competitors, got $180,000 each, 5 of them. What is that, almost $1 million they got, plus Ina got also another $200,000. Over $1,200,000 was given for a little district called the 48th District for 5 or 6 people to run. I didn't take any money. I thought I can fight with them, and they used that money. And they only had to raise $20,000 or $30,000 to get the matching funds. And what they did was they used the money just to go against somebody else, not even to pitch themselves or give their platforms out or to go to a debate. You know, I like Mr. Saperstein. I spoke very nicely about him. But he didn't have a debate. He didn't have a debate. I didn't really know his platform. I didn't hear what he had to say, and I didn't hear what Ina had to say. Ina came to my club, and she spoke, and I asked her a question. I said, Ina, have you done this, and this? Oh, I take 1,500 calls every week and blah, 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 and I do this and that. I want to hear you doing this. I want to see you doing this. I want to see you on the streets more. Not just on a photo update giving out 2 packages of meals. I give out 150 packages every week. I raise the money for it. And not only me, there's so many other organizations. But on the holidays or on the special events, they show up, they give out a package, and you should see their parties. Their parties are in the $1 million range or $200,000 range. Money they could use for the feed or for the homeless. Where do you think they're getting their money from? Their donors? They're getting, there's one guy who donates. I don't want to say his name yet, but he donates to a lot of these campaigns. His job is to go into people's houses or people's buildings that have violations or a little behind the mortgage. And then he forecloses or buys their deed at half the price, tries to either sell it back to them, gives them a 10% discount, or he forecloses on them, evicts them, and takes their home. And where does he get all this legislation power from? A lot of his politicians that help him or let him waive his licenses. Because this guy is not only a developer, he's a broker, he's a realtor. He has so he gets, when he buys the deed, when he resells it, he gets a commission. When he appraises the building, he's getting a piece of the pie across the board all over the place. And he's able to somehow make deductions that he pays his other company, and then his other company makes a profit, and he's able to deduct it again, takes a loss. I don't even know how. He's making millions of dollars. He's printing money by stealing your homes. And our politicians allow this kind of legislation. I have to look into that. Now, I want to get back to the marijuana thing. The government, the city, your mayor is cracking down so badly on these illegal marijuana shops that if the landlord doesn't evict this illegal marijuana shop, how do I know what my tenant is selling? He has a smoke shop. I don't know what he's selling in the store. I don't go into his store. He has a smoke shop. He's selling the pipes. He's selling the fake smoke. He's selling, what's it called again, vapes. I don't know that he's selling marijuana. Now that if he's caught selling marijuana, the landlord gets fined and punished. The landlord could lose his building or something of that nature. The city evicts the tenant, and then the city charges the landlord for this eviction. Lots and lots of money. Again, they're punishing the landlords for something that we don't do. But to have a tenant that doesn't pay you rent for 8 months, you can't evict him. Why? All he has to do, I don't have heat. It's not true. You have heat. Oh, I have a leaky faucet. I have a guy who actually shuts off his radiator, calls HPD, and the inspector writes me a violation. I caught the inspector in the building. I said, show me that the heat's not working. The inspector goes up there and turns on the radiator. I said, you just switched it the wrong way. You just shut it off. It's a lie. You see that they shut off the radiators because we went to the next one. You guys just write violations. You go after the landlord so you can issue a violation and a fine. That's what they do. And the tenants know by doing this, they then take their temperature gauge, stand next to the radiator, which is by the window, and it now shows only 61 degrees. So now you're below the heating range, and it's a violation. That's it. There are games and tricks to teach you how not to pay rent. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to go into, we're coming to the end of the show. I don't know how much longer we have. I hope my producer comes out and waves me at the 5-minute mark or whatever, so I don't run over time. But there's a guy called Gary Jenkins. He heads the New York City Department of Social Services. He resigned as commissioner Tuesday, capping a tenure for homelessness and serious staff shortages. That's what he was complaining about, that there was a rise in homelessness. A rise? We had 60,000 people and 20,000 kids before you got there. So you couldn't handle it till now. Of course there's a rise. Why didn't you take care of the issue? Because there's other homeless people. Of course there's going to be more homeless issues. He quit like a crybaby. You know, he says, I'm not running away. During an interview, he says there's something that he was already planning for a while. Oh, come on. You couldn't do your job. People were complaining. You know, they're allowing them to abuse us. They take hundreds of thousands in salaries. They when they can't accomplish their jobs, they find a private sector job and say, "Look, I was a commissioner. I was a department head. I was the head chief inspector. I was the police chief." And you know what? They get jobs very big time later, while us losers, as they call us, us people that have regular jobs, we're the losers because we know what to do. We're the ones working. We're the ones fixing. We're the ones servicing them. You know, the biggest slumlord in New York City today is the New York City Housing Authority, with over 1 million tenants. Mold, leaky ceilings, broken ceilings, flooded apartments, people living in squalor with roaches, rats. They have one of the biggest superintendent staffs. They have the biggest maintenance staff. They have more. I've been there. I've worked for inside the housing authority and private contracts for 3 years. I've been to their supply rooms. Anything that you ever wanted, they have more supplies there than any supply house in New York City. They don't even use half the stuff. And you know what? They don't fix this stuff. Or half the guys are joking around. Or it's just, and you think that that's it? There are drug dealers, drug infested, houses of ill repute. That means women that are prostitutes working out of there. Yeah, they catch them once in a while and evict them, but most of the time they're scared for their own lives. They're superintendents and their little porters all over the place. I don't understand. I don't understand of lawlessness. Mr. Mayor, instead of be busy with the illegal drug shops, license them. Teach them to be compliant. Take those cops that you're sending out and wasting time, send them into the projects. Send them into the hallways. Stop the drug dealers. Stop the rapes. Stop the shootings. Put more police presence on the streets. I don't know. I don't know. I'm never going to give up. I'm just disappointed and I'm complaining. I'm complaining about a mayor that was an ex-police officer, a captain for 25 years. He knows the issues. He knows the issues of mental health. He knows the issues of people committing suicide. He knows about cops shooting themselves. He knows about rape and robberies. He knows how they occur. He knows why they occur. He knows why people shoplift. You're so busy with shoplifting, but you're not busy with rapes and robberies. Those petty little crimes, those people are shoplifting because they don't have food on the tables. Those kids can't even buy a candy bar. Those people go into a store, they're not shoplifting Gucci. Of course, if they're shoplifting Gucci and stuff like that, I can understand that. But most of those people are shoplifting a pair of socks or an underwear or a sweater that they're cold. That's what they're doing, or a bra because they don't even have one. This is what we're busy with. We should be able to support them, help them, give them a second chance. But the law is very strict. And you know, all those judges, there was like 21 judges that were just reappointed. Those judges have cases running 4, 5, 6 years. Some of those judges, those leftist, liberal, democratic judges that the mayor reappointed should have been fired. Should have been fired. I can't fire them when I become city councilman, but we can try to stop their budgets. We can try to lower their staff. We can take away their special parkings, figure out a way to make them move things along, create legislation that if they have a case too long, not that the case gets dismissed, that the judge gets punished. And after 10 or 15 or 20 punishments, the judge gets removed from the bench or gets suspended. Oh, then you're going to tell me, Heshy, then he'll move along the case too quickly and we won't have justice the right way. Incorrect. You're able to move along big murder trials in 2 weeks. You're able to do crazy stuff, and you're able to sometimes let people lost in the system, postponing, adjourning. This America, which is called a speedy trial, there's a reason why we have speedy trial. Because it's possible. The evidence is there. You're right, if the evidence can't be found and researched. But a lot of the time, the district attorney is too busy. Too busy? Too busy? Get the case done, and you won't be busy. Get the judge to rule properly. Don't give it over to the clerks to do the work. The judges should be doing the work. The clerk should be there to help him. Most of these judges don't even write their decisions. They give it to the clerks, and the clerks write the decisions or make the decisions. I remember going to court, and a clerk comes over to me, give me your case. I give him the case. I run the case. Well, this is what's going to happen. I said, woman, I want to see the judge. You don't need to see the judge. This is what we're deciding on. I'm going to give it to the judge. She'll sign the court papers. I said, I don't want you to do that. I want to go before the judge. It's an open and shut case, and it's basically your two sides. I said, I want to see the judge. Finally, it took me a few hours. I got before the judge. Well, I'm going to have to adjourn the case. For what reason? I waited to see you. It's my date. I have to do research. But your clerk just did the research, should have given you the synopsis. She told me she's even ready to write a decision for you. Again, red tape, games, laziness. People don't want to work. People just want to collect their monies and their pensions and go on with their life. Anyways, let's see, any other subjects before we get this? Oh, yeah, I have something big to talk to you about. Do you know that the George Santos, you know who that is?
Don't we all at this point?
Right. So George Santos finally got himself a seat. He got sworn in to Congress. You know what I mean? They wanted to put him on 2 committees. He ended up saying, no, I don't want to be on committees right now.
He doesn't want to be a distraction.
He doesn't want to be a distraction. Now I hear, all of a sudden now, that he's a subject of an ethics committee investigation. And Speaker Kevin McCarthy confirmed Tuesday that the probe was underway against Santos. According to a couple of several news outlets, the revelation came exactly a week after Santos said that he was recusing himself from the committees. Now listen to this, if the ethics investigation, which has not been previously disclosed, finds evidence of wrongdoing, Santos could face expulsion from Congress. Not that he will, he could. Ethics is moving through it, and if ethics finds something, we'll take action, McCarthy said. Despite initially responding yes to questions over whether probe of Santos was underway, and they really made a deal with him, like, we're not going to bother you, and he voted for McCarthy. The truth of the matter is, I don't know what Ezra says. I know Ezra is very happy about this, that Santos is going to be under the ethics committee and he'll be thrown out, and a lot of you people. The truth of the matter is, he lied, but he wasn't in office. He didn't submit any paperwork that were lies. He didn't have to say what kind of background or history background he was or whatever it is. He had to give some money, what monies he had in his financials, but he only had to give it the date. Now, if he committed some fraud from other stuff, maybe they could get him on that. But I don't know if they're going to get Santos, and even if they do, it's going to take, just like the January 6th case, it's going to take a year, 2 years. By that time, he's up for re-election, so you have a right to vote him out. It's not going to hit the vote for Congress to expel him before 2 years. At least for a year, he's going to be there. Now, I have a question for you. We're going to end the show in a couple minutes, guys, but I want to have 2 things that I want you guys to vote on or tell me about. The Chinese balloon flying over America. I mean, it wasn't a weather balloon. We knew it was a spy balloon. I'm watching it fly. The news people are talking about it for days. Why didn't they just go up and shoot it before they got it? They saw it was coming over the oceans. It didn't just get here miraculously. They saw it was coming. Maybe they didn't know what it was, or it snuck in through the back door. What took them so many days? And then finally when he shoots it down, oh, look how great the president was. He shot it down and we're collecting it. And China has the nerve saying, oh, no, it's our property. Give it back to us. I don't understand you. The minute you saw this balloon that didn't belong to anybody in America, you shoot it down. What took you so long? How hard was it? I would have gone out there, flying on a plane and shot it down. What was the problem? You take credit for being something. I don't know. You're going to have to go home and take a nap, my boy. It looks like I'm boring. I hope I don't bore you. My friend Jacob here is tired, and we're going to have to send him home soon. But it's okay. If I'm boring you, my show is coming to an end. I'm going to tell you right now. These are real issues. Issues that not only deal with our country, they deal with our city, we deal with our person, and costs all of us money. That makes me work an 8-hour day. Now I have to work 12 or 13 hours to cover my extra taxes, my extra gas, my extra electric. And now I have to spend all these extra hours, so it costs me more money in car gasoline to go to different inspection sites, more employee overtime, more time away from the family, more electric bill in the office. All of these expenses, and I have to add it to my clients. Just like the grocery stores, when they get the tickets, have to add it to your food, and that's why we have inflation. Let's see, my final subject of the day, and I held it back for a reason, was Biden. Now, yesterday, Jacob, before you fall asleep on me, because now you can fall asleep. When Biden spoke, I was bored, man. You know, your president made a State of the Union address.
He absolutely did, and he lied through his teeth.
So you watched it.
I did.
I was not only bored, but forget about that. Did you see him slurring words?
Yeah, here and there.
But I don't understand. What is here and there? I know he didn't slur the whole speech, but the man is president of the United States. If you're tired, like you, Jacob, you should have taken a nap during the day. We're on a small radio show. You're the president of the United States speaking to 300 million Americans. Not only that, you're speaking to the world. He was speaking to China. He threatened China. He said, China, you want to compete against us? This is the only line I liked about his whole speech. You want to compete against us? No problem. But you want to do anything else, we're not going to let you get away with it. You're not going to do things bad to us. You're not going to spy on us. You're not going to give us threats. You're not going to go and do stuff that we're going to mix in. I don't believe that Biden was serious. I mean, I'm sure he was serious, but I don't think that he's strong enough to carry out his threats. Shooting down a balloon took him 4 days. But I promise you, I heard him slur some words or stutter on some words. This is the president of the United States speaking to Congress, talking to both houses, I'm sorry. Talking to all three branches of our government. Talking to the world, and he looked not presidential to me. I actually got bored of him and turned off the radio in middle. It bothered me. It bothered me. I don't know. Mr. President, I for sure know one thing. I'm not voting for you in the next election. There's no questions asked. I'm not voting for you, and I'm disappointed with the Democrats that elected you into office whatsoever. I think that about pretty much, was it undertaking law enforcing discuss nuisances abatement? Oh, yeah. No, I got that. I got everything. I think I covered most of my subjects tonight. I hope you watched the show. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can always comment. You can email me at justenoughheshy@gmail.com. See, I just slurred that. Maybe I'm not the president. Maybe because when I get elected, every politician has to start slurring. JUSTENOUGHHESHY Just enough Heshy, just like the sign says, @gmail.com. Send me an email. Send me a subject you want to talk about. Always, I'm available for you. Always, I'm here for you. Yes, I am running for city council. Maybe I'm building up my platform. Maybe I'm trying to hike myself up by having this show. No, I've always been here. I've been here for the last, I don't know, about 8 years, pitching my product, which is me, and trying to help people and trying to make you people come out there and do help other people, to do volunteer work, always to make our city better, and anyway to make our country better, and to make the rest of the world respect us, because we are the leaders. You know, when they shut down New York City and America, the rest of the world shut down. When we opened up, they took time, but they opened up. And if you notice, your mayor, I forgot, this is one of my subjects, your mayor finally lifted the mandates for city employees who didn't take the vaccine. So I was right. I was right all along that you don't have to take the vaccine to go out and work and be with other people. I was right. I was the guy who cut the locks. I was the first one to say, no, we don't need this. I led the way. And yes, the rest of the city, I'm not taking credit because there was a lot of good people out there fighting for mandates and no vaccines, and we were forced into different things. But my friends, you see at the end of the day that we were right and they were wrong. And now, there's still some mandates still in place, just in case they want to be able to lock us down and tyrannize again. Thank you, everybody, for joining our show. I hope to see you again next week, Wednesday. And I'm going to give you good news about me being the nominee, maybe not, for the Republican Party of Brooklyn. Thank you again. Hope you enjoy my music. Let it go, my dear producer. Thank you.